It's going to be an interesting next, 3.5 months as we're going to continue to see trade articles, scenarios, whatever, for the Spurs trading for Trae Young. And if I'm being honest, I think there's a chance it may happen. That being said, is Trae Young worth 4 first-round picks? What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Hey, Atlanta Hawks fans, you're stopping into. Welcome to TSR Sports. And I caught this article on Bleacher Report, and I want to share it with you. While I'm going to the article, drop a comment down below. Do you think their trade scenario makes sense and Trae Young is worth that? Or you're like, whoa, that is way too much. They're out of their mind and we're not doing that. Let me know. Hawks fans, if you're stopping in, what would you want for Trae Young? Are you ready to move on from him? Hit the thumbs up if you'd like to support the channel and subscribe to become part of our awesome sports community. So a 3-team trade to give Wemby a star point guard in big market franchise real hope. Let's get into this article. This trade does involve the Spurs, Hawks, and the Chicago Bulls. Howard Beck and the Ringer wrote in February, one exec said Atlanta discussed a potential young trade with San Antonio before last week's deadline is considering near certainty, I can't talk, that they'll part with one or both this summer, talking about Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. Young's height and frame, 6'1", does he only weigh 164 pounds? Gosh, he's way smaller than me. Maybe opposite of Wemby's frame, 7'4", 210, and I think his weight's higher than that now. But those differences may complement each other. Young, not a noted defender, we all know this, needs a rim protector. Wemby is the best in the NBA already in his rookie season, averaging 3.5 blocks a game, while Wemby would benefit from a playmaker getting him easier shots. Okay, so here's the full trade scenario. This is what we came in here for. The Hawks get Trey Jones, Devontae Graham, our 2024 first-round pick, the one that's like coming up in a few months, and then you got all the picks back that the Hawks traded to the Spurs, the 25 pick, the 27 pick, the pick swap, plus the Hornets first-round pick, which is never going to convey and turn into a second-round pick or a pair of second-round picks, I'm not sure, and Lonzo Ball via the Chicago Bulls. As far as the doubles, you get DeAndre Hunter and City Sissoko. Really? What? We're giving up on him already? And then the Spurs get Trae Young, Javon Carter, and a 2024 Sacramento Kings first-round pick, which I believe is lottery protected. The Kings are going to be a playoff team, so that's not going to matter. Okay, so let's get into the first two teams in this trade scenario. Why the Hawks should do it. The Hawks just aren't good enough to a team as constructed. Going by Beck's article and general buzz in NBA circles, and Atlanta is believed to be seeking sizable changes, i.e., a rebuild. Tear it all down. This isn't working. Break up the team. Trade Trae Young. Trade DeJounte Murray. Trade Clint Capella. Just start from scratch. Tear it all down. And I could see that happening. Now, if they trade Trae Young to another team, DeJounte Murray to another team, the Spurs are not going to part with those Atlanta Hawks picks because they're going to be invaluable. But I got to think that if the Hawks are going to trade those players away, they're going to want first-round picks and a whole lot of them back, which makes sense that the Hawks would ask us for all the picks that they traded to us. As far as the Bulls, kind of interesting take here, why they should do it. Many competing executives believe the Bulls should rebuild. You know what? So do I. Chicago, however, doesn't seem to agree. With that in mind, how can the team improve on what has been neither an overwhelming or underwhelming season? I believe they're playing about 500 ball last I checked. So what they're saying is try to keep winning. Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan and company, in adding in another player, maybe that helps them out. We'll see. As far as our Spurs and why they should do it, it sounds like a lot. 4 first-round picks for Trae Young, but the Spurs are essentially trading down, giving up 2 seconds with the protections on the Hornets selection, and sending the Hawks back their picks for Murray. And this is kind of interesting the way they put it here. So what they're saying eventually, what kind of happened if this trade happened where the Hawks get all their picks back, is San Antonio would essentially executed a delayed trade of DeJounte Murray for Trae Young, enabling our guys to be bad enough to land Victor Wembanyama. Interesting way of putting it. So you're trading DeJounte Murray for Trae Young, and we got Wemby in the process. Okay. Trae Young would be an improvement over DeJounte Murray. Maybe not. Some would agree with that, some not. Let me know. The Spurs have collected several first-round picks through the rebuilding process, but Wemby changed the time frame. True, even this year, San Antonio may have a top 5 pick. We probably will, but cannot find a player ready to help more than Young. Maybe not immediately, but maybe long-term. In this trade scenario by Bleacher Report, the Spurs would waive Charles Bassey, and I could see that happening. I like Charles. Lots of knee injuries in his short career. 2 fractured patellas, I believe, and the recent torn ACL. And I think that's all on the same knee, so his knees are just crumbling. And we've seen players, unfortunately, have a similar type of career. At Portland Trailblazers come to mind with Greg Oden and was it Brandon Roy? Am I getting the name right? But both their knees just couldn't hold up, and their careers were cut extremely short. Charles Bassey, I hope that's not the case, but he could be headed right in that direction. And we do have the rights to sign any free agents. Chetty Osman, Sandro Mamushvili, etc. Then there's also the fact that if the Hawks want to haggle over picks, or the Spurs do, we also have future firsts from the Toronto Raptors. It says here 2024 top 7 protected. That pick is top 6 protected, is it not? We have the Bulls 2025 pick, which is top 10 protected, and then we have the Celtics 2028 pick, which is top 1 protected. I think that's a pick swap, though. And then the Mavericks, I don't even remember this, 2030 unprotected swap. Anyway, what I want to do, Spurs fans, is get back to the actual trade scenario about what we're giving up and give my 2 cents now on this particular trade. It's interesting that they have us trading away 2 point guards. Granted, Devontae Graham doesn't play, except for in pure garbage time or emergency situations, but the trade TRAE and Devontae would leave us with 2 point guard, 2 pure point guard. I don't know if I call TRAE a pure point guard, but a point guard, he's a scoring point guard, a point guard. Trae Young and Blake Wesley. And then sort of Malachi Brandon Caesar on the point. I don't know if that's good enough. And then the other part I'm really not okay with is this 2024 first round pick. I know this isn't the best draft ever. It's not deep. But I'm certainly not okay with it if it's a top 3 player. And if it's the first overall pick, there's no way I'm trading that pick. Trade him a different first round pick. We have plenty of them. No way. Especially if we get the first overall pick, we have a chance at taking Alexander Sarr. I've been kind of not lukewarm, but just not sure because of floor spacing issues, him being a rim protector. But what I've been reading about him lately, as recent, an article from 2 days ago, is now Sarr is showing offensive flashes of 3-point range, pull-up shooting, and open floor ball handling. His game is literally developing before our eyes, and he's, 18 or 19, so he's still very young. There's no way I trade that pick if we have a chance at him, because I'm sure a lot of Spurs fans would love us to have the Eiffel Towers. Sarr and Wemby, 2 7-footers. So that's certainly out of the question. If this trade did happen, and let's just for the sake of this say the Spurs don't trade their 2024 first round pick, we keep that. Our starting lineup would be Wemby, the draft pick, Sarr, Wasache, whatever, Sohan, Vassell, and Young. Is that a playoff team immediately? Yeah, probably. It probably is. Yes, Young is not a good defender, but I think Wemby's run protection can kind of offset that a little bit. And the other guys, if they can step up defensively, Sohan, if he's shown defensive flashes, come on now, Vassell's shown some flashes, and whoever we draft, if they're a solid defender, then that can compensate for the deficiencies in Young's game. But then I look at the bench, and the bench would concern me, Spurs fans. You got Kelman, Zach, Malachi, Julian, Blake, and Dominic as the primary bench. And every one of them has been very inconsistent. And you also look at the primary three players off the bench, Kelman, Zach, and Malachi. They're not good defenders. They're not good defenders at all. Now, by the way, props to Zach Collins for rocking a -17 in 15 minutes of time and falling out. That's a special kind of suck you displayed last night. I'm rooting for him. I like him, but man, sometimes he just frustrates me watching him just not play up to his ability at all. Spurs fans, in closing, I think it's going to happen. I do. My gut is telling me the Spurs are going to make a play for Trae Young. The question is, how much do we give up? 4 first-round picks is a lot. I'm not totally okay with it, but I understand if they trade the Atlanta Hawks 3 first-round picks back to them. The question is, what else has to go with it? It could be different players. Could it be Keldon Johnson and the Hawks 3 picks? Could it be Keldon and the Hawks round picks plus one of our first-round picks? I'm not sure what it would take to pry him away from Atlanta. Or might not even be prying him away. Atlanta might be ready to see him go if they're really blowing things up. But I honestly think this is going to happen. And I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if I should be excited because we're getting a, 2 or 3 time All-Star, or if I should be worried that it's not going to work. So just because it seems like Trae wants to be here and he's a good player in Atlanta doesn't mean he's going to fit with this team. And I don't want to run into a scenario where you give up a ton of draft capital and a ton of assets, and then the player you traded for doesn't work, isn't happy there, and then you're trading him away, and next thing you know, Wendy's not happy, and then we're blowing it up. And then we turn into the Atlanta Hawks. We trade for Trae Young, think we can make a run with Trae Young and Wemby and company, and next thing you know, 2-3 years down the line, it's like, nope, it's not working. That's all I got, my friends. I'll be live tonight. We play the Phoenix Suns at 10 o'clock. 8 o'clock, excuse me. We've beaten the Suns before. I'm a little worried about this game. We lost to what's left of the Memphis Grizzlies last night, and Phoenix Suns going to be coming for revenge tonight. Special note, this will be the last stream with Miss TSR this season. She won't be able to do another game as I have we don't get together during the week at my house, but she won't be able to come here any of the remaining weekends of the Spurs season. She's going to be out of the state for 2 weeks in April. So, if you want to say bye to Miss TSR tonight, she'll be back. We're not breaking up. I don't want that sounds bad. Everything's fine with us, but as far as being on a live Spurs stream, she won't be back until next season or Summer League or preseason or whatever it may be. So stop by and say hi. That's all I got. Hope you're having a great weekend. I'll see you tonight for the Suns game. Thank you for watching, and as always, go Spurs, go.
Ready,